Hello, and welcome to another edition of SkipperWing Draws a Thing. Today, I will be animating an expression change from surprise to flabbergasted using my Crimson Fly head puppet in order to test said head puppet for other animations. So right now, what I'm doing is roughing out the key poses to my animation. And you might be wondering why I'm doing that instead of just using the puppet straight. I mean, why have a puppet if you're just going to rough out your keys traditionally? Well, the short answer is that it's always easier to build, edit, and fix on top of something rather than creating something entirely from scratch. And so roughing out my key poses allows me to figure out what they are rather than jumping in straight into the animation and having no idea what they'll be until I fiddle around with the puppet, which isn't as intuitive as just drawing it. So right now I am importing the head from my puppet file and putting it in the animation file. And from there, I would like to segue while I am currently setting up poses. So why do Flash puppets and why do traditional in Flash? Well, the cool thing about Flash puppets is that they are reusable. When you build a Flash puppet, you can use it in as many animations as you can creatively fit it into. If this puppet test works, then I don't have to redraw the Crimson Fly every 5 seconds whenever I make a new pose or something. I can just import the puppet, push it into the shapes I want, and then play it out. And I don't have to redraw it, recolor, re-ink, etc., etc., etc. And plus, as you build onto that puppet, those assets become reusable too. So if I have a kicking leg, then I can reuse that in another animation. The downside to puppets, as you're seeing, is that they're limited in what they can do. There's only so many poses and expressions and things that you can plan for when you build a puppet in the first place. You never know when the puppet's going to need to do something that you didn't plan for. Like, I don't know, a broken arm, torn skin, torn clothing, suddenly gruesome. And eventually, with poses that are so action and dynamic-y, like flips and kicks and whatever, they get so dynamic that at that point you're building enough assets that you might as well just do it traditionally. So that's how I look at it, is that if the animation can be done with a puppet, because the assets are there and it's not taking up as much work as just doing it traditionally, then I do it with a puppet. If it would take as much work to do it with a puppet and build the assets as it would just draw traditionally, then I do it traditionally. But I'm also always trying to look out for new ways and better ways to do things, because there's no one universal way to do it. So if I can find a puppet that works, then heck, I'm going to use that puppet forever. And that's kind of the point of this test, is to start building that puppet, because I want the Crimson Fly to go on for a while. And while I would love to improve my drawing skills just by animating in Flash, I would also like to improve my Flash skills by learning how to animate smartly rather than hard. Work smart, not hard, and all that jazz. So, as for this test, the animation was a success. That much is undeniable. But as you're about to see, the puppet itself, not so much. And that's not so much the fault of the head, so much as it's the fault of the body. When I drew the body, I wanted to be universal, but as you'll see in this test, for almost every pose, I am redrawing the body, and that just does not fly. And that's partially because the body is almost entirely dynamic, or at least the torso is. The torso is going to be doing a lot of things over there, depending on what the character is doing, and also depending on perspective. And I didn't account for that here. Plus, the folds have to look as though they are moving, but they're not static, like they're glued to his skin, or they're sculpted. And I don't think that this puppet really did that. But I think that the animation turned out really well anyway, and that's no big loss. Besides, the head still works, so I have something to build from. And that's about it for this animation. If you like what you saw, or have any questions, or even have suggestions about what you'd like to see me draw or animate, please leave a comment below, or email me at skipperwing@gmail.com. If you like this channel and this content, please like and subscribe. Hit up the comments and hit up the links in the annotations, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!